Whew. So how rare is a 135 overhead press? 135 pound overhead press, according to our best friend Chat Gibbet, it's like 1 to 3% of the lifting population can overhead press 135 pounds or about 60 kilograms if you're from over the pond. Now, why is that? Why is this such a rare lift? And I think I have some theories. Some theories that are probably more cultural, and some theories that just have to do with physics. So culturally, I think it's lost on us. So I think it was lost on us whenever bench press started getting extremely popular. Now, I wasn't alive and around when that happened, but I'm going to guess it was probably right around 50, 60, 70s mark, right? So prior to that, your merit in the gym was your overhead press. You know, the York guys, you know, they were doing their body weight or well over it, definitely well over 135. And that was like just what you had to do. That was, we respect you in the gym now. You did, 185, 200 pound overhead press. You're worth something. You're not worth, your freaking gum on your shoe. You know what I mean? So I think culturally it just took a hit. And I think that hit is just from maybe that's an arbitrary thing. Maybe it's arbitrary that lifting over your head is the best strength feat you could do. Who knows? And then the bench press just came along. You can lift more with it. And I think people tend to do what they're better at, especially in the gym. This requires more strict form and more strength. And so what I also found out was 135 overhead press is the equivalent to like 225 on bench. And I want to say that I benched 225 before I could overhead press 135. And this is the other point I have with it being more of a physical reason why it's harder. So when I first benched 225, I think I weighed like 165. Now, at that weight, at that time, I don't think I'd be able to do a body weight, let alone a 135 overhead press. And I think that's just because it's more of a physical structural move. You don't just lay down on a bench and pinch your shoulder blades back and lift the bar and touch it to your chest and press it. This requires a very strong lower back, glutes, legs, everything under the bar is being worked. You're up here with it, everything under the bar has to work. Total body, full body movement with some pretty bad leverages. I mean, there's a reason why it's going to be your weakest lift. You know what I mean? Like to the population that can get over 200 pounds, or over 90 kilograms, like you're elite, in my opinion. That's an elite number, no matter what body weight you have. And I think that leads me to my next point, is that the body weight that you carry is going to matter in the long term, help your overhead press. And I think this because I think of it as just physics. Now, it could be completely wrong. I'm not a physics major, I'm not any smart guy like that. But I think if what you weigh, you can probably press if you train it. For instance, a 185-pound guy should, with considerable training, be able to press 185, right? So with that logic, someone who weighs 300 should be able to press 300 as well. I think that's a fair assessment for any press you do that's body weight. Damn impressive. It's super impressive. And then anything you do over body weight, 10 times more impressive. They keep, every time you add 5 pounds to that, 10 times more impressive in my opinion. Because mass is going to move mass in this lift. Just like with the bench press, the thicker you are, the bigger you are, the more weight you have, you're going to bench press more. Your more body weight equals more bench press. It's indisputed. So all you bros that want aesthetics, but also want a big bench, like, I mean, you're going to have to like pick and choose here. You're going to have to pick, like, do I want to increase my bench numbers for the time being? Or worry about my small waist and six pack for a little bit? You have to pick one, you know? You know, genetics be damned. Like, there are a lot of people that can be lean and do it, but you know, if you weren't, if your first bench press wasn't 185 off the bat, and you had to work from like 95 pounds and you're a stick, you got to gain weight. It is what it is. Anyway, back to overhead press and gaining weight. I feel like the heavier you are down here, the more you're going to have to press up here, right? Like someone who's 400 pounds and solid, like no one's really 400 pounds and solid except strongmen. There's a case in point. They lift a freaking fuck ton over their head. Excuse my language, but they do. It's impressive. So these guys are in the 300-pound category, and they're lifting the Austrian oak, which is like 400. So there are 300-pound guys moving, 300-pound guys moving 400 pounds over their head. You don't see many 200-pound guys lifting 400 over their head. That's kind of my point. The heavier you get, the more potential you have for a heavier overhead press. I think this is number 4. Another reason why I think it's harder is because it's a very technical lift. You know, the bar path has to be straight. If you go any farther this way, it's going to dump because leverage is going to dump you. You know what I mean? Like you can't really hold much out here. You know, if the strongest guy in the world probably had his arms out here, you just tapped his arm down like that, it would go down. You know, like you can't hold much out here. Out here, you can hold a lot. Right here, you can hold a lot in the midline of your body. Structurally sound, it's your skeleton. Nothing's getting through that. So that's why I think it's harder. You have to learn that. It's a skilled lift, I should say. Kind of like the clean and press, jerk, the Olympic lifts, like they're just skill. You gotta learn the skill. But be strong. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of weightlifters that do actually weightlifting. But you know, they don't touch a lot of traditional lifts. Like they would be weak in some traditional lifts because they're built for power, skill, athletics. It's a bit different. But I like the overhead press because it's a little bit of a combo with that. Like you need to have enough athletic ability to maintain you structurally sound while you do this. So you'll know when you misgroove it. You'll know because you either don't get the lift or it just feels crunchy, wonky, and your lower back is not ideal. And your low back is very important when you do this. It's very important in the overhead presses, your lower back integrity and structure. So I am running Doug Hepburn's program right now, but he also said squatting helped his overhead press some of the most numbers he's ever done. And I think that's because the squat builds a lot of that low back glute power to drive up, and he translates that into his overhead press work. You know, like, for instance, if you were in a front squat position and then you were to, triple extend up, that's going to translate. Things are moving up already. So I'm thinking when he does strict pressing, he's using that type of power from the floor. Boom! It's a push press, essentially. Depends on how strict you want to do it, though. All right, so this week I got to do threes 3 times. 3 by 3 here. Should be pretty easy. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I may have started his program on a little bit, not I may have started his program with maybe a bit lighter weights than I needed to, but this will give me a lot of room to improve. So I may be starting with a lower weight, but I won't crash out sooner. And you progress every month. So it's 8 workouts, and every time you add a set, you remove a set of 2, and you add a set of 3. So still 8 sets, but each time you're removing a 2, adding a 3. So if you do each movement twice a week, that's 8 workouts per one move, then you move up in weight. So it's about a month to do all the rep work you need to do to increase weight. And I know that might sound slow, like a lot of people think, oh, you need to be adding weight each time for linear progression. But we're adding reps first this time. And I'm trying to be patient. Like, part of me wants to add weight to this because this feels easy. I'm going to run the program. I'm going to slow down, run the program. Let's do another 3. So let me know in the comments, if you've gotten this far, let me know if 135 was an easy effort for you, if it took a lot of time in the gym to get it. If you're still working on it, let me know. If you think it's an elite number, please tell me. If you think our strength standards are just lower these days, let me know too. Curious to see or hear from you guys, like what 135 means to you overhead. I think on social media we see a lot of we see the 1%. We see the greatest of all time because that's what people want to see and watch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my dinky little garage doing 135. You could be watching pros doing over 400. Like, that's not a dig on me. Like, I'm thankful for what I do have and what I can lift. But, it's just not the 1%, It just is what it is. But if you have watched this far, I do appreciate you. I'm going to do my last set of 3 real quick. Hopefully you're rested long enough. And then we'll talk in the comments. We'll see who can do 135 overhead. You know, even if it's for one, great. If it's for reps like I'm doing, great. If you're well over that, fantastic. But let me know if overhead press is something you need to work on or something you want me to talk more about. I'll be happy to do it. So here's my last set of 3, and I'll see you guys afterward. See ya.